him.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-mugub, it's time for the only news that matters. And Dave Mustaine has revealed new details of his departure from Metallica in an interview with the Songwriting show. The Megadeth frontman shared his account of the band's relocation to New York. The move was initiated to work with Megaforce Records founder Johnny Zazula, and it included a dangerous road incident. He said, "When we decided that we were going to move to New York, that was because Lars had found somebody he wanted to manage us. This guy, Johnny Zazula, who had Megaforce Records. He heard our demo tape, the No Life Till Leather demo tape, and he's lost his mind just like everyone else in the world." Mustaine described the pivotal incident before his dismissal. He said, "We hit black ice while driving in New York. The whole thing spun out while I was driving. I managed to keep it upright in the middle of the freeway, but the truck stopped and oncoming traffic was coming toward us." And he added that he potentially saved producer Mac Whittaker's life during the incident. Events took an unexpected turn in New York. I had a reel of tape with probably 2 days worth of guitar riffs, just me playing. And after those 2 shows, they woke me up one morning and said, "You're out of the band." Mustaine expressed his frustration with their decision. He said, "No warning? No second chance? You're not going to give me a warning and you're just going to kick me out? I thought that was unfair. It showed a grotesque lack of character." The interview offered fresh perspective on the long-discussed split between Mustaine and Metallica. This separation eventually led to the formation of Megadeth. These new revelations add another dimension to the documented departure that reshaped thrash metal's landscape. Loudwire documented the firing on April 11, 1983, after a performance at the Brooklyn L'Amour's Club. James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, and Cliff Burton had already secretly hired Kirk Hammett as Mustaine's replacement before delivering the news. Ultimate Classic Rock highlighted Mustaine's behavior under the influence as a key factor in his dismissal. The entire band earned the nickname Alcoholica for their drinking habits. However, Mustaine's confrontational tendencies while intoxicated created additional tension with his bandmates. The split transformed both parties' trajectories. Rockfeet noted that Mustaine formed Megadeth later the same year. That band would become one of thrash metal's most influential forces. Mustaine's determination drove him to create a band that could rival Metallica's success. The competition enriched the metal genre with 2 legendary bands instead of 1. When I first met Lars, he played me a song called "Hit the Lights" that was written by a guy named Lloyd Grant. Metallica didn't write that song. Lloyd Grant wrote it. And when they fired me, I told them, "Do not use my music." And of course, they used it. "Ride the Lightning," I wrote it. "The Call of Cthulhu," I wrote. Let's see, what else? There's Phantom Lord, Metal Militia, Jump in the Fire, The Four Horsemen. And I wrote a bunch of Leper Messiah on Master of Puppets. They didn't give me credit for that. You listen to riffs, you know they're my riffs. It's like, you think I'm going to all of a sudden hear my riff and say, "That's not me." So yeah, I wrote a lot of their music that made them. And all the solos and the first, on that first records were mine. It's the best Kirk Hammett could try, and copy them. All right. Yeah, he just won't let this shit go, will he? Dave won't let it go. And all right, let's overlook the songs that he wrote in Metallica, okay? Ride the Lightning, The Call of Cthulhu, Phantom Lord, Metal Militia, Jump in the Fire, The Four Horsemen, and Leper Messiah, all right? And then he goes on to say, those are the songs that made them. No, not really. You know? I was there since the inception. Now, they're badass songs, but let's go with the first album. All those songs he wrote on the first album. The two most popular songs on the album he didn't write, Seek and Destroy and Whiplash. All right? Then the next album, Ride the Lightning. Most popular songs on there, there's three of them. There's For Whom the Bell Tolls, there's Fade to Black, and there's Creeping Death. All three Dave had nothing to do with. Then Master of Puppets, the song Master of Puppets, come on. Dave had nothing to do with. And then after that, you know, is when they really became huge. With One, Enter Sandman, this and that. That's what made them a stadium act. Master of Puppets, Seek and Destroy, Whiplash, Creeping Death, you know, For Whom the Bell Tolls. All that stuff, man, was bubbling in the underground. And they made it all the way as an opening act for Ozzy. It didn't make them yet. And it does suck. I wish Mustaine would have stayed for at least an album or two before they fired him. I would have loved to hear his playing on those Metallica albums. In my opinion, it would have been better than Kurt. I like Dave more as a guitar player than Kurt. And Kurt copied Mustaine's leads on Kill 'Em All. You know, but, hey man, if you know, he'll talk about, it wasn't called Dave Alcoholica, you know, because I was the only one drinking. They were all drinking, yes, but they weren't all violent like he was. You know, he fought a lot, and he was becoming a major pain in the ass, and they fired him. And it was, you know, they thought about it. They got Kirk ready to come out. They already thought of, you know, kicking him out of the band. And that's why they kicked him out of the band, for being violent. You know, he could have been an alcoholic like the other three and non-violent and still been in the band. But hey, man, I mean, it's understandable. To me, it's more understandable why they fired him from Metallica than why he fired Dave Ellefson from Megadeth. You know? I don't think it's cool. He fired Dave Ellefson from Megadeth for making the bald man cry. You know what I mean by that? You know, oozing the noodle, you know? I mean, that's the lamest reason for kicking somebody out of the band. I mean, I can understand if Dave Ellefson was shaking hands with Mr. Winky in front of Dave and shoots a load on him. All right, yeah. Okay, I can understand getting fired for that. But really, you know, getting fired for blowing his own horn, you know, battling the purple-headed yogurt slinger, you know what I'm saying? You know, riding the mayonnaise surf, shucking corn, you know, tugging the slug, you know, windsurfing on Mount Baldy. Debugging the hard drive, you know, auditioning your hand puppet, you know. So what? You know, if he's a squirt hockey, you know? You know, so what if he was burping the worm or playing pocket pinball or badgering the witness, you know? He was celebrating Palm Sunday, you know, making magic with leftovers, you know? He was pulling the Pope. He was wrestling the eel. He was liquidating the inventory. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was fishing with dynamite. I don't know what that meant. You know, but, you know, then there's the beef stroganoff, jerking the gherkin, cooking cucumbers, you know, consulting Dr. Jackoff, you know, tipping off the inspector, you know. Much ado about nothing, you know. It's not cool that they, you know, that Dave Mustaine, you know, fired him for shuffling his iPod, you know. So what if he was strangling the Cyclops? You know? He was he was buffing the Vampire Slayer. You know? He was making Pearl Jam. You know? Oh, he was meeting the Goop Man at midnight. That's right. He was seasoning the meatloaf. You know? He was practicing politics. I don't know how that equates to that one. Or hunting for Red October. I don't get that one either. But tossing egg salad? Yeah, I can kind of see that one. Crying on the toilet? No, I don't think so. You know, the tartar sauce rainbow? Yeah, probably so. But anyway, yeah, he got fired for all those things. But he didn't hit anybody. He wasn't violent, you know? So, yeah, whatever. I see hypocrisy here. What do you all think? Leave it in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching the only news that matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell and like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.